I can't tell the difference between my waking life and dreams. There's chaos in you. Embrace it.
Embrace the chaos!
I'd like to welcome you back to the B1C. I'm your host, Casey B, and in the MoonKnight Episode 2 Disney Plus show, it was a mind-bending escape from reality thrill ride from the very beginning until the very end.
They're very good listeners, right?
But you're not alone.
Yeah, it's like part of the problem, isn't it? Yeah.
If you were a bit confused at all about the first episode and what was happening to Stephen Grant, or was it Mark Spector, or from what I've been seeing, just maybe the only personality we haven't seen yet, the cab driver Jake Lockie. I'll explain later. And believe it or not, Jake Lockie is the darker of the three personalities. From this point forward, I am no longer responsible for the spoilers that I am about to bestow upon you. So, embrace the chaos! Don't forget to comment, like, and share down below. You could be the winner of the big gift card giveaway. It's free money, all for a couple minutes of your time. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and be sure to leave a comment below to put you in the running for our 250 subscriber giveaway. I'll give you all the details and explain that at the end of the video. In the comics, our hero, or anti-hero, or mercenary, or cab driver, whichever one, suffers from DID. That's dissociative identity disorder, or multiple personalities. In the bathroom scene at the end of episode 1, he was talking to Mark Spector, the madness mercenary that turned into MoonKnight in the comics.
Steven, I could save us. But I can't have you fighting me this time.
Episode 2 begins where we left MoonKnight beating the jack shit out of the jackal sent by Arthur. Nightmare. Koresh Wannabe and his gator lady girlfriend, Ahmet. The camera then pans to sand, and you want to think we're sitting on a beach under an umbrella sipping Mai Tais, soaking up the rays, but alas, it's only Steven's bedroom. And this is where we see him jump out of bed with that chain wrapped around his leg, smashing himself on the floor the same way you should do the like button before it talks about your mom. He wakes up thinking it was just a sweet and solemn jackal ass-kicking of a dream, but he looks at himself and can't get Mark to tell him either way. He asks Mark to come out, but Mark doesn't. As he enters the museum, the camera just twists upside down, and tells us how he became the prince of his own moon nightmare.
Uh-oh, Richard! Oh, wow!
Sorry, Will, but I did keep your wife's name out of my effing mouth, if that makes you feel any better.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
Has anyone seen the security footage?
Well, yeah, I was about to.
They have some information about it.
When he talks to the security guard to confess to what had happened, the security guard, for some odd reason, still calls him by another name, Scotty. Where did that come from, I wonder? And of course, Steven says Area 51 and MI6, so that should get everybody's attention.
That's not me.
He sees himself staring back at him in the monitor, but Steven knows that it's not him, that it's Mark. And of course, you tell people things like this, you end up right straight to HR, and then they're going to try to lock you up in a padded room in a straitjacket. Hey guys, Casey B here. Time to pay some bills, so we're going to go ahead and thank today's sponsor, which is, of course, Bird One Creations. Because when it comes to content creation, you can sure bet one thing, that Bird One Creations is a content creator that wears many hats. Y'all have a good night here. So, like I said, after an awkward talk with HR and an enlightening one from Mr. Gold, he decides to take the key that he found and find the locker to get some real answers, to see if that one bite of steak has actually driven him bonkers. But I believe he's been bonkers way longer than that.
I eat one piece of steak and then bam, I go bonkers.
And he didn't have nothing to do with the steak. By finding and unlocking the locker, it symbolizes him trying to unlock the part of his mind that he wants to know more about, or he thinks he wants to know more about until he actually does. But as the old saying goes, be careful what you wish for. He finds out that Mark actually lives in the locker, and by the way, if you pause the show and scan the QR code beside the 43, which is the number of the unit, and it shows it right there at the front. What'll happen is you do that with your phone, and you'll get a free digital copy of Werewolf by Night number 32, which was actually the first comic book and the introduction of MoonKnight into the comics. Oh, when he gets on in deeper into the locker, he finds a big old bag of goodies. The first thing he pulls out, of course, is a nickel-plated 9mm.
Oh my God.
Different kinds of money. I believe in British money and also American money, and a passport with none other than Mark Spector's name on it. And actually, it does say on there that he was from Illinois, and that's actually in the comics where he says he was born in 1987, which, if I'm not mistaken, that's the year the actual actor was born. Stephen then calls out for the man in the mirror.
It's totally real. There he is. Here he comes. Hello, man in the mirror.
Could be a Michael Jackson throwback, who knows. And Mark tries to lay out the 411 on exactly what he is. But now he does warn Stephen first that he really doesn't want to know, but Stephen doesn't have nothing to do with it. So he throws it out there that he is the avatar of Khonshu.
So what? Am I like meant to be some sort of mad secret agent or something? Tell me what it is you are.
I serve Khonshu. I'm his avatar.
Well, Stephen is flipping his shit right now. So he threatens to take that bag of illegal shit, as he calls it, and go to the authorities. Get locked up and get pumped full of pills so that he could get Mark out of his head. And at that moment, Khonshu steps in to scare him to death. And I'll tell you what, Khonshu in the full view like that looks killer. After the Khonshu chase, he almost gets run over by his wife. Yes, I said wife. His wife, Layla.
Layla?
Well, after the short ride to his flat, which he has to beg her to take him, he tries to explain what's happening, but she is not buying it, telling him that she is only there to finalize the divorce because that is what he wanted. That's what Mark wanted.
Look here. Divorce. I'll never divorce you.
Meaning the feelings that Mark has for her has somehow spilled over into Stephen. And then he says,
No, this is my mum's flat.
Okay, so you guys are talking again?
if that's the case, who is Stephen leaving messages for? Who's sending Stephen the postcards? You know, he does have 3 personalities in the comic books, and we haven't seen one yet, so y'all keep that in mind as the video progresses. Well, Layla and Stephen have a touching French poet moment, and then he tries to show her the scarab. And Mark says, no, don't do it, keep her out of it. And finally, he tells him that if he gives that to her,
you're gonna get her killed. You hear me? Wait.
This whole one-man show is just what? So that you can keep it for yourself.
and I do believe that this is where we start to see cracks in the wall in between the two personalities we've met so far, I do see it breaking down right here, because things are starting to intertwine that apparently for a long time, that he said later in the video, that he's been doing this.
How long you been doing this?
I don't know. Long time.
I don't like it.
Long time.
So, well, all of a sudden at that point, two police officers knock on the door, or who they think police officers, because Stephen thinks it's because of the toilet at the museum, but soon finds out it's none other than two cult members that was sent by Harrow to pick him up. So I guess we could say it was Harrow all along. Well, Harrow tricks Stephen into spilling the soup, so to speak, lentil, by the way, to be exact, and exposing the truth about all the voices.
It must be very difficult having all those voices inside one head. Stephen Grant, Mark Spector, Khonshu.
And the whole entire time, Khonshu is trying to get Stephen to
Kill him. Break his windpipe.
break his windpipe and kill Harrow. But the funny part is, Harrow seems to know everything that Khonshu is saying to Stephen without actually being able to hear him.
Okay, what is it? You see him? You see him right now? That's what he's saying. Is he telling you to kill me?
And that's kind of weird until it's revealed that Harrow was actually...
It's a privilege I no longer have.
I was his former avatar. Before you, I was the fist of vengeance.
the right hand of vengeance himself, Bruce Wayne. Harrow tries his best to reason with Stephen and make him feel welcome and comfortable, showing him around, feeding him, and explaining to him why Ahmed is so important in today's time and why he needs the scab to resurrect Ahmed's, but so she can instantly and at one moment turn Earth into heaven. Stephen argues that killing a baby because he may or may not do harm 30 years from now is a very sick and twisted way to turn Earth into heaven.
Peace in our time. Imagine that.
And realizes that this cult is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Feeling depressed? Like the world goes on without you?
But at that very moment, the mood changes. Arthur changes completely. Harrow goes from good guy to what we think the villain may be and demands the scrap, demands the scarab. And he shows him, of course, the walking stick of Amat with a fraction of her power, just a fraction of it, and said he does not want to use it again, but he will. At that very moment, Layla shows up and shows that she has the scarab and helps Stephen escape as Harrow summons another jackal.
Nays, pit in hotter to act.
That only Stephen can see. So as they're trying to escape, Layla is still kind of confused to whether he's nuts or what's going on, because Stephen is the only one that can see the jackal. Well, as the jackal attacks and hitting Stephen fall out a window, as they are falling, Khonshu says, so Stephen, not knowing how to, yells, "Suit!" and he lands. And what we think will be the suave, debonair Mr. Knight, we actually realize as he botches the superhero landing that Stephen summoned his version of Mr. Knight. Now, basically his version of the Moon Knight armor that fits his personality.
Oi, Stephen, what the hell are we wearing? A bit sharp, though.
To a T.
You're in the wrong ends, mate. You're in my yard now.
But I tell you what, though, it sure does pack a mean punch.
Come on,
Well, Mark finally convinces Stephen to surrender the body to him to chase the jackal away from all the people before a lot of people get hurt. So Stephen, knowing that he can't deal with the situation, agrees to do it for a short time, as he says.
That was a hell of a punch back there.
All right, do it. Take control for now.
And we get to see the full-blown Moon Knight, jumping from rooftop to rooftop, climbing up on buildings, Batman, and literally impaling the jackal as it disappears, and he catches his half-moon scepter and puts it back in his chest. Well, after he turns back, he keeps Stephen from getting back the body until he finishes with Khonshu. He figures he'll keep Stephen in the mirror, that way he can get all this stuff done, do his servitude to Khonshu, and then be done with it. But Stephen and Mark argue about it. They argue about it, and Stephen tells Mark that if he doesn't give him the body, that he will never give him a moment's peace. Well, at that very moment, you'll never guess who shows up. Of course, the god of the moon, Khonshu, appears, telling Mark that he cannot go back on the agreement that Stephen would not interfere with what's going on, or he will pick his next avatar. And as we find out, Layla is his next pick. Mark then swears to never let that happen and vows again to do whatever it takes to finish the job at hand. Well, the episode ends flashing to Egypt, where we see supposedly Mark, a highly trained and lethal ex-CIA mercenary that is slobbering drunk and trashing a hotel room. That just doesn't seem to fit the personality. And Stephen doesn't seem like the type either, but he can't take the body over. I believe, my theory, that this is where we get introduced to the third personality, Jake Locke, the darkest of the three, who has also set up the voicemail for Mom and sent the postcards they for some reason have to keep showing us, because we keep seeing them here and seeing them there, so they're important for some reason. And I believe that this is the cab driver, Jake Locke. But that's where the episode ends. Well, like I said, this is where number 2 comes to an end once again, and it left more questions than answers, just like the first episode. And once again, I'm on the edge of my seat and counting the minutes until the next episode. I can't wait. This show's getting better and better, and I'm really enjoying doing the videos for this show, because it's really got me excited for what the future does hold for the MCU. I'm stoked. Well, folks, that is the end of this one for now, so let's go ahead and get to the giveaway. As you may know, we just celebrated our 100th subscription, and I'm going to be announcing that Kimberly Hartman was the winner of the most comments. Well, I went to give her the $10 gift card, and she graciously decided to donate it back to me to put in the kitty. So, at 250 subs, we're going to be giving away a $35 gift card instead of a $25 of your choice to the person with the most comments. Now, I want you just to listen to this. The most comments. Not just a comment, but the most. So the person with the most comments, no matter which video I've got across every video that I've published, will be the winner of the 250 sub $35 gift card once we hit 250 subs. Well, I want to thank all of my subscribers here in the Birdcage Mafia for all of the love and support, helping us surpass our first milestone as we work as hard as we possibly can to get towards the next. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and massage lightly the subscribe button. That way you don't make it mad. And drop a comment below to go ahead and enter. And don't forget to slap that bell so it knows for a fact to let you know when we drop some more knowledge your way. I want to thank you again for spending just a few minutes of your time hanging out with me today. You can follow me here at Bird One Creations, as well as Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. This is Casey B signing off from the B1C, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.